The first day of free agency in the NFL was a bloodbath for the 49ers. They watched mainstays walk out the door. Dre Greenlaw, Kyle Juszczyk, Talanoa Hufanga, Charvarius Ward, and others all leaving in free agency. All in all, 11 players from the starting lineup of Super Bowl 58, not Super Bowl 54 in 2019. 11 players from the Super Bowl that was played in 2024 are now gone from the 49ers roster. This was a rebuild of epic proportions. It was a bloodletting by Jed York and Parag Marathe. They are cleaning the deck and they are setting the stage for a rebuild. Nobody in the 49ers is going to say it. It is a rebuild. And look, a lot of this was probably necessary, right? Dre Greenlaw, they wanted to keep him. He battled injuries. He could only stay on the field for 34 snaps. The 49ers were never going to go as high as the Broncos did to get him. They were never going to pay Aaron Banks. Talanoa Hufanga, injuries were a concern with him. They were not going to pay him what Denver paid him. They are not going to pay A-plus prices for B-minus players. That is the reality. That's what the 49ers are going to sell you. But still, it hurts yesterday, right? It hurt watching the official end of this era of 49ers football. It had to be done, but it still sucks, right? And right now, when you look at the roster, it's a little painful. There are clear holes on the defensive line. There are holes on the offensive line. There are holes in the secondary. But just remember, when you remodel your house, the first thing you have to do is demolition, right? You got to strip out the cabinets. You got to rip up the countertop. You got to rip out the floors. All of that stuff has to get done. And if you were to walk into that room in the middle of that project, you would look around and you would say, this looks like crap. This is terrible. Oh my goodness. But you have to keep the bigger picture in mind. What the 49ers are going to have to do now is they are going to have to build it up. And that's what they are doing this offseason. We've seen other teams do it. The Rams roster went through a transition and they were able to get to a place now where they look very, very good. Probably the NFC West favorites for 2025. The Niners are essentially trying to change the tires on a car while it's driving. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a very tough needle to thread. But if you're looking for a reason for optimism for the future, look at this. The 2024 draft class, very, very good, right? Dominic Mooney, good. Bernardo Green, good. Ricky Pearsall, hopefully coming along. Isaac Arendo looked solid in spurts last year. Jacob Cowing, even the limited times he played, we liked what we saw from him. That was something to build on. The Niners have 11 picks in the 2025 draft. They clearly are going to need to make some of those along the defensive line, some along the offensive line. Yes, we know, but they have done it before, right? They have built this roster up before. We saw it when Kyle Shanahan was hired in 2017, and it took 2 years, and they were in the Super Bowl. And they were in the Super Bowl with a worse quarterback than the one they have now. And that's the other encouraging thing for the 49ers, right? They're not starting from nothing. This isn't 2017 when they basically had nothing on the roster and had to find all of it themselves. They do have a solid foundation. They have Nick Bosa. They have Fred Warner. They have Christian McCaffrey. For this year, at least, they have Trent Williams. They still have George Kittle. This is not nothing, okay? This is why I believe the 49ers think that they can change the tires on the moving car because it's not ground zero, so to speak. There are some pillars there that they can build off of. They're not starting from scratch. You've started to supplement with the draft pick in 2024. You can build it up again with a really good draft in 2025. We don't know what other moves in free agency are going to be made, the day 2, day 3 type of moves for the 49ers. We have to wait and see there. But it's not hopeless. It just hurts right now. And don't let that pain blind you to what could be for the future. The Niners are going to have to build it up again. But before that, they had to tear it down. And that's what yesterday was. And yeah, it was a little painful. But have faith in John Lynch. Have faith in Kyle Shanahan. If they did it once, they can do it again.